Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Pleasure to welcome you to the second day of this info days related to the cluster 6, and pleasure also to also welcome you to this particular session that we are going also to, which is devoted to the circular economy and bioeconomy sectors topic of the work program 2021. My name is Panos Balabanis. I'm the head of water sector in the circular economy and biobase systems unit. And I have also the pleasure to welcome also Paola Migliorini. Paola, if you can also introduce yourself.
Yes. Thank you, Panos, and then welcome everyone. I'm Paola Migliorini, the Deputy Head of Unit in DG Environment, the unit that deals with circular economy and sustainable production and consumption.
Thank you very much, Paola. If we can have perhaps the next slide, perhaps to also start our discussion. As I said, we are participating now to this session on, the next slide, please. The session on circular economy and bioeconomy sectors. So in this session, we will start with a small introduction, just to give an overview of this particular also call. Then colleagues will present shortly the 2021 topics of this destination in 4 batches, which are related, as I will explain, to the 4 headings of the call. So we will start the presentation with the research innovation actions related to the circular economy transition. Then they will continue with a presentation of the part of the actions which are related to sustainable bio-based systems and the bioeconomy. Then we will have a break about 15 minutes, and then we will continue with the remaining actions of sustainable bio-based systems and the bioeconomy. And then we will finish with the last presentation, which is an action on blue bioeconomy and biotechnology value chain. Next slide, please. So I would like to, this is also very important information. I would like also to have also your attention. After each batch of topic presentations, we will open also the question and answer discussion. And of course, we will invite you and would like you to participate and ask as many as questions you would like to have. This questions session will be through the slide, so we would recommend you to go to the dedicated website, www.sli.do, and then please insert the code of the for this to join the event, which is hashtag CLS6 InfoDay. And then you have also to select the dedicated room, and then you select the destination circular economy and bioeconomy sectors. Or you can also simply use also this QR code, which is also displayed in this slide. What is very important, I would like to draw also your attention, please, to facilitate also the allocation, the different questions to the various topics. I would like to request you also to label your questions with a number of the topic. For instance, if you are interested in topic Circ Bio 0103, for instance, just put the number 03 before your question. So this will also help us. And of course, if we will try, as I said, to reply to as many questions as possible. But if some of the questions are not answered and you consider that are very important, you can also send later on in the research inquiry service your request, and then it will be a reply in written after this event. And I would like also to stress that, of course, during the session, the questions we will favor will be more on the topic. So please avoid to have general questions which were supposed also to be addressed also yesterday. Next slide. Here is just the, as you can see, the content of this call. As I said, there are the topics are distributed in 3 headings. The first heading covers, safe integrated circular solution at territorial and sectoral levels for important flow and product value chain, such as textile, electronics, plastics, and construction sectors. We aim at less waste and more value by extending the lifetime and retaining the value of products and materials. Here, some key concepts in these topics are sharing, reusing, and material efficient economy in a safe way to minimize also the non-sustainable use of the natural resources. We want to encourage cascading use of materials and innovative upcycling of waste to new application. The second heading is of these calls cover the key bioeconomy sector, such as sustainable biobase systems, small-scale rural biobase solutions, notably in primary production, forestry, for instance, and the aquatic value chains. Bio-based innovation lays the foundation for the transition away from a fossil-based carbon-intensive economy by encompassing the sustainable sourcing, industrial small-scale processing, and conversion of biomass from land and sea into circular bio-based materials and products with reduced carbon and environmental footprint. Let us remember that the potential of biological resources go beyond biomass processing into renewable products. It includes the use of organisms and their parts in more environmentally friendly bio-based industrial processes. And then the last heading covers blue economy and biotechnology value chains innovation. In fact, marine and land-based biotechnology can provide new sustainable and safe food and feed production methods, greener industrial products and processes, new health-related products, and can help characterize, monitor, and sustain the health of marine and terrestrial ecosystem. I will pass now the floor to my colleague Paula to present the next two slides. Paula.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. In fact, what is important, and we would like you to get as a background, is really the policy context that you can actually see, and then you need to have to catch the essence of the different topics. So the guiding principle and the guiding document from a policy perspective of this call is the European Green Deal. Yeah? It's the document that was adopted in December of 2019. It is the policy document that sets the priorities in terms of policies of this commissions for a set of areas, not only the environment, but clearly, it's really the document that sets the context for sustainable development and brings it as a priority of these commissions. So you need to see all the calls and the different topics in the light of the objectives of the Green Deal. And as you see then, you can imagine the European Green Deal as a tree with several branches, and then other action plans or strategies contribute to developing this political context for the call. For example, the Circular Economy Action Plan, the Biodiversity Strategy, the Bioeconomy Strategy. There are a series of more thematic strategies like the plastics or the forest, and the industrial strategy and the SME strategy. So all these policy documents constitute really the background against which we have developed the different topics. There are several others also, I think, about the action plan on critical raw materials. So all these initiatives contribute to developing this policy context and are really the strength of the call. So you need to keep this in mind. Because there's such a link with a policy context, you also need to see how we build it in order to identify some specific impacts. The expected impacts under this call, in fact, should really aim to develop, for example, the circular economy and the bioeconomy sector, so strengthening them, achieving a sustainable and circular management and use of natural resources, which are at the center of the concept of circular economy, we aim to prevent and to reduce and remove the pollution with this calls. And we also aim to unlock, for example, the full potential and all the opportunities linked to circular economy and the bioeconomy. Namely, we also want to ensure competitiveness. So from one side, developing a different system, and on the other, ensuring that the European companies remain competitiveness. And we also want to guarantee, for example, on a typical environmental perspective, a healthy soil, air, fresh and marine water for all. We needed to better understand the planetary boundaries and then have a wide deployment and a market uptake of all these innovative technologies and other solutions, notably in the bio-based sector. So this is really what we really want to have as expected impacts. The call is also expected to contribute to a series of impact areas of the strategic plan. You know how the topics are always built under Horizon. So it's basically starting from the strategic plan and trying to contribute to some of these of the areas that the strategic plan has developed. I'm thinking about climate change mitigation and adaptation, enhancing the ecosystem and the biodiversity on land and in water, ensuring a resilient EU prepared for emerging threats, inclusive growth and new job opportunities, industrial leadership in key and emerging technologies that work for people. So starting from these areas, we have developed further these impact areas, and we have, as we can see in the next slide, what are the expected impacts that we are actually waiting for under this call. For example, we really hope or aim to have regional, rural, local, and urban and consumer-based transitions towards sustainable, regenerative, inclusive, and a just circular economy and a bioeconomy across all regions of Europe. So the inclusiveness that has been put forward by our president at the beginning of her mandate. So this is very important. We also expect to impact on the industrial sustainability, so changing the way industry develops and remains competitive, as I said, and then ensure independence of resources. We also looked at the citizens and at consumers, and we are expecting to improve the benefits that they can take out of these activities, including in the rural settings. So not only in the urban or the more linked to industrial settings, so also rural. We also expect, for example, when it comes to forest, to have or to support a multifunctionality and then a better management of forests in Europe. And in fact, I wanted to point out here that the main call on forestry is proposed only from 2022. So even if the main call is in a couple of next year.
I think we have a problem, or I can take. If perhaps, I don't know if we have probably a problem with connection with Paula. I would perhaps just to, as Paula was saying, the forestry mainly topics are foreseen for 2022, but of course there are in other parts of the work program, there are also topics which are related to the forestry, so I would invite you also to have a look there. And then to stress, as Paula was saying, that there is this link that we have with this intervention logic, which was the main driver, to go from the strategic program to the work program. And so there is a link established between, as you can see, the expected outcomes of the topic, the political priorities, as well also the expected impact specified in destination. So this is an important element that you will have also to look in your proposal. And then if you go to the next slide, which I think this is also the last, is just information about the number of the topics, the type of the actions, and the budget. As you can see, this destination will have for 2021 126.5 million euros. And as I said, there will be 4 topics for the enabling a circular economy transition heading. There are also 4 topics on sustainable biosystems and the bioeconomy, and with 37 million euros, 71.5 million were for the circular economy transition topics. And then we have also 1 topic related to the blue economy and biotechnology value chain with an overall budget of 18 million euro. And as you can see here, the majority of the actions, actually 7 actions, are innovation actions, and we have only 2 coordination and support actions. And with that, I would like also to thank you for your attention. And I would propose now to go to the various presentations of the topics. So let's start with the first batch of topics. As I said, we will have 4 presentations. This will be mainly the topics related to the circular economy transition. And then after these 4 presentations, we will open the question and answer sessions to reply also to your questions. And as I mentioned in my introduction, please also use the Slido also to ask also your questions. So I would like to invite now first Janneke van Veen to also present the first 2 topics of this destination, which is Circ Bio 001 and 0102, which are related to the Circular Cities Regional Initiative. So Janneke, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Everywhere around Europe, there are initiatives to move to a circular economy, whereby waste is no longer treated as waste, but as a valuable material. However, the journey towards a circular economy proves to be a complicated journey with many hurdles along the way, be it technical, regulatory, or financial. Current regulations, investment tools, and practices are based on linear models, and this poses a problem for the emerging circular models. They often apply new innovative technologies or introduce new business models, and because of that, they are seen as risky and not bankable. There's just too much unknown factors. However, when we manage to show advantages of moving towards a circular economy, expected outcomes will be very positive for business opportunities, job opportunities, reducing greenhouse gas emissions in economic sectors and natural ecosystems, and efficient valorization of local resources that otherwise would be wasted. Next slide. With the Circular Cities Regions Initiative, Circular Systemic Solutions, we want to address the barriers and show solutions. I will call them demonstration projects from now onwards, because otherwise it's a very long title. Proposals, the demonstration projects, need to demonstrate how they will address all the dimensions they encounter when transitioning from a linear to a circular economy. These include social, environmental, and economic dimensions, and all the science, technology, and government components. You can think of technical issues, regulatory issues, but also how to involve different stakeholders along the value chain. We want to have demonstration projects that look beyond waste and water management, and we invite interested parties to look at one or more of the new Circular Economy Action Plan key product value chains, and also look at nature-based solutions. The demonstration projects should identify, analyze, and quantify economic, social, and environmental benefits and trade-offs and challenges related to their implementation and demonstration. It should include monitoring and evaluation of the transition to a circular economy, and it should include the identification of the strengths and weaknesses as well as the causes. It should analyze regulatory obstacles and drivers, and should provide clear and precise policy recommendations to improve the transition. It should have a high potential of replication and scalability. Because there's going to be an intense cooperation cooperation with other projects, we expect complementarity and cooperation of the demonstration projects. That will be it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Janneke, for this presentation of this topic 0101. Then I will give you again the floor to present the second topic 0102. So the floor is yours again.
The EU wants to accelerate the transition from a linear economy to a circular economy. We want to have a regenerative growth model that keeps its resources consumption within planetary boundaries and reduces its consumption footprint and increases its circular material use rate. Around Europe, there are countless initiatives that aim at less waste and more value by extending the lifetime and retaining the value of products and materials. There are countless activities on sharing, on reuse, and on material efficient economy. The cascading use of materials and innovative upcycling of materials to new applications is encouraged. However, things are not moving fast enough. And why? Partly because projects have difficulties finding finance due to all kinds of uncertainties on legal, financial, and technical aspects. The Circular Cities and Regions Initiative Project Development Assistance has the purpose to help project promoters develop their projects and to bring together the technical, economic, and legal expertise needed for developing circular economy investment projects at local and regional scale. This should lead to the actual launch of investments. Next slide, please. These projects should demonstrate financial viability and sustainability and should provide tangible showcases that will trigger further replication. The CCRI, so the Circular Cities and Regions Initiative Project Development Assistance, will pay for the activities necessary to prepare and mobilize finance for investment programs. You can think of feasibility studies, stakeholder and community mobilization, business plans, preparation for tendering procedures, or setting up specific financing schemes. Proposals should address the development or replication and implementation of innovative financing schemes for circular economy investments at local and regional level. The CCRI PDA, so the Circular Cities Regions Initiative Project Development Assistance Services, should support public and private project promoters to launch investments for activities aimed at increasing circularity in economic sectors that are relevant for the transition towards a sustainable circular economy at local and regional scale. It should meet the local and/or regional circular economy needs, resources, and potential. There will be a focus on small and medium-sized circular economy investments up to 20 million euros. Proposals are expected to ensure synergies and complementarities with other EU financial schemes or other circular economy projects around Europe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Janneke. And then we will proceed with the next presentation. This presentation will be given by Hans Christian Eber, and this we will start now with the 0103. So we are going now to have two presentations which are related to demonstration of innovative circular solution for major sectors and material streams of the Circular Economy Action Plan. So Hans Christian, the floor is yours.
Dear experts, I have the pleasure to present to you one of our upcoming Horizon Europe topics under Cluster 6, Circ Bio 1.3. It's called Innovative Solutions to Overpackaging and Single-Use Plastics and Related Microplastic Pollution. And if I go to the first slide, I want to give you some policy context. It is, of course, related to the commitment that the Commission took under the European Green Deal and directly related to the mandate under the Circular Economy Action Plan. It has an exclusive plastics focus, covering both plastic waste, plastic production, but also microplastic pollution. Why do I mention the product environmental footprint method here under the policy context? This is because this is one of our key instruments that is also mentioned in the policy context, and this is what will govern all our programming activities when it comes to the assessment of the environmental impact. And in the end, what we want to do with these projects is also reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So this is the way forward to measure it. I want to give you some context why we are doing this. And there we have recent figures. In 2017, packaging waste in Europe reached a record of 173 kilogram per inhabitant, which is the highest level ever. And in addition to this, we have an immense burden on waste and water management systems, and we have a huge marine pollution problem from microplastic and disintegrating material. So all these are things that we want to cover with this project, and there are several outcomes that that we want to achieve. We are fully aware that we cannot cover all of these outcomes in each individual project, but what we want to target in total is deployment of solution at large scale. We want to target reuse, recyclability, and upcycling, meaning qualitatively better recycling. We want to reduce the total amount of overpackaging and single-use plastics, but we also want to reduce the amount of packaging waste and single-use plastic waste, which is not the same. We want to optimize and improve feasibility of waste management, and we want to reduce the release of microplastics from these applications. If you go to the next slide, you will see that we included, in addition to consumer goods and food packaging, humanitarian relief items, which is something that came up as a consequence of the COVID crisis. And you will also notice that that we said that social innovation can be part of the equation. So as civil society is one of the key actors in this project, we think that significant achievements can only be made if we address the needs of civil society and barriers specifically. One of our guiding principles in Horizon Europe is that we want to move up to higher technology readiness levels, but also want to move up in the value chain, which means that the whole thinking, this circularity thinking already starts with better design and alternative materials. Big focus will also be on new business models that might be business service models, and also on new digital solutions, including smart labeling and sensor-based sorting, for example. With this, I would hope the overview is complete, and I will go to the next project.
Thank you very much, Hans Christian. So I will immediately also give you now the floor again to present the next topic, 0104.
Yeah, experts, I will talk to you about an upcoming Horizon Europe call or topic, which is increasing the circularity in textiles, plastics, and or electronics value chain, which will be an innovation action, meaning it will have a high TRL of 6 to 8. For the records, the title, the entry is CircBio 0104. And if you go to the first slide, you will see the policy context, which is the European Green Deal, the Circular Economy Action Plan. The two relatively new strategies for plastics and the upcoming on textiles. And I also mentioned the product environmental footprint method in the policy context, because the PEF method is the guiding principle for all our assessments, as we want to introduce a life cycle approach in all our projects. We want to use a standardized method, and the PF method is the one that's really gaining acceptance by industry, and the one that is the most advanced. So this would also be part of the policy context. Why do we focus on these three material streams? Simply because these are key material streams in the Circular Economy Action Plan of 2020. Which states that, for example, electronics is one of the fastest growing waste streams in the European Union, with annual growth rates of 2% and less than 40% recycled in the EU. Textiles have an enormous environmental pressure. They are the fourth highest pressure category for the use of primary raw materials and water, and the fifth in greenhouse gas emissions. And plastics, certainly because of microplastics and the burden on waste and water management systems, but also due to their resource use, as they are based mainly on fossil materials. What do we expect of the projects that we want to finance under this call? The deployment and market uptake of new solutions at grand scale, and inclusion of advanced digital solutions, new value chains, and a focus on both recycling and uptake of recycled material. But we would also like to see new business models, be it reuse, repair, refurbishment, but also service models replacing ownership models. We want to have a strong involvement of all actors in circular practices, which means that we will need to address their individual needs. Actors might be retailers, but also civil society, consumer or CSOs. We want to have increased public awareness levels, and we hope that these projects will also contribute to industrial competitiveness and new jobs. If you go to the next slide, there you will see that these projects also have a training and learning aspect. This is related to jobs. Digital solutions we see as a key element of all upcoming projects on circular economy, as one of the key issues is the establishment of new value chains, and new value chains can only work if an exchange of information happens. And we're all aware of the barriers to this exchange of information, confidentiality, property rights, etc. One aspect that I haven't mentioned yet is that we, if we want to increase the amount of recycled contents in new products, then we also need to have robust methods for measuring the amount of recycled contents in products. And we hope that these projects will also contribute to this requirement. We are fully aware that the project cannot cover all these aspects. So out of the outcomes, we would expect that any project selected would address at least 4 of the expected outcomes. And with this, my presentation is finished, and we'll be happy to take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hans Christian. Thanks also to both of you, Janneke and Hans Christian, for the presentation of these 4 topics. So I will propose now to open the questions and answers session for which are related to these 4 topics. So if there are questions for topics later, we can also we will also address them in the related also topic. So we have here there are I will start with these questions which seems to be also voted by several topics. So the first question is, do projects related to the CCRI necessarily require partners from several EU countries? This is in particular for the 2 topics, 0101 and 0102. So Janneke, I will ask you also to reply to this question, please.
Yes, good morning. So no, the question is no. What is required is when you are looking at a product value chain that you actually look at different stakeholders throughout the value chain. So if you would have a project, oh, now I can't see the question anymore. That's a bit of a shame. So if you have a good project that is focusing on a product value chain, it is important that you look at the different stakeholders. So that would then ideally be in one region or within one municipality, so one city or region, so not several EU countries. So yeah.
Indeed. Okay, thank you, Janneke. The second also question is also for you. Yeah. The question is how to demonstrate also the complementarity with other projects in the call. The question is if there is already a list of related projects which cooperation is expected. If you can also reply to this one.
Thank you, Panos. Yes, actually, this question is a great follow-up question on the one that was just asked, because the CCRI, so the Circular Cities and Regions Initiative, is an initiative that will entail many different projects. And so when we are going to select the different projects, we will also look at different, that we have a good spread of different key product value chains, the one that is, the ones that are mentioned in the new Circular Economy Action Plan. So that would be food, batteries and vehicles, packaging, plastics, textiles, constructions and buildings, food, water and nutrients. So we will look if there is an equal spread among these value chains, and we will of course also look at a sort of geographical spread throughout Europe, but at the moment there is no list yet.
Thank you. So I will also pass to the next question, which is also related also to topic 0101. And the question is about the similarity of this topic with a topic that was already in the Green Deal call, which was the last Horizon 20 call. And the question is, there was a similar topic in the Green Deal call focusing on one territory, but with bigger budget. What are the differences now? If you can also elaborate on that, Janneke. Thank you.
Well, I can be very short. There are hardly any differences, and also the Green Deal call will be part of the Circular Cities and Regions Initiative, and I would like everybody who is interested in these topics to really keep a close eye. Not just when you're going to apply, but in the following months there will be follow-up actions. So if, for example, you would not become one of the stakeholders who would become one of the projects, there are in the near future even more opportunities to take part in this Circular Cities and Regions initiative. And the Green Deal call is one of these actions, and the 2 topics that I have just been explained are 2 other topics, but in the future there will be even more in this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Yannick. I think we have also the next series of questions. I think that are very relevant, I think, to this one. Because the next question is, does it focus again, like the Green Deal Call 3.2, rather on one demonstration, territorial cluster on classical balanced consortium? Again, the other, how does this topic differ from the Green Deal topic 3.2? I think if you can also address both, I think you have already replied to that, but if you can.
Well, again, it's the same. It's really the same as the demonstration territory. So the demonstration project. So really, the Green Deal Call topic and the CircBio 0101 are really more or less the same. So yeah, I can't spend a lot of words on that, but that's just the way it is.
Again, yeah, I think this is. Could it involve a common territory? Trans-regional with several systemic solutions?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It could, if you can very well demonstrate and explain how it all interrelates. It definitely it can definitely involve a common territory, trans-regional with several systemic solutions. That is very much possible. Yes.
Very good. I think these are the other are related. Perhaps the question about the systemic solutions and the TRL. I think this is perhaps important to. The question is, systemic solutions aren't always measurable in TRL, the technology readiness level. How do we deal with rather structural, procedural, less tangible solutions? Another scale. So if you can also elaborate on that question.
So yes, this is again related to the demonstration project, where yes, indeed, we say we're talking about a TRL level between 6 and 8. That's a good question. I think when you're talking about structural procedural solutions or barriers or challenges, I think it's very important that within your application you can you elaborate on that, you clearly explain what the issue is, because of course we do say, you know, that you have to address all kinds of different things, not just technical issues, but also regulatory issues or financial issues. So if you want to zoom in on that, we would strongly encourage to do that. I hope that is a good answer to the question. Otherwise, I'm more than happy to yeah, go into that after this.
No, I think this is, I think that is a question which always, I think we have also addressed in similar other contexts. Of course, it could be that part of the system, part of the technological aspects are a higher level, but we have also to look overall at the end, the overall TRL, you know, at the end of the proposal. Again, I think we have replied to this question. Could it involve a common territory, trans-regional with several systemic solutions?
Yes, we answered that just now.
I think this is, we have answered. The question is, could the systemic solutions be not just technological? And if yes, could alternative to TRL be used?
I'm not completely sure what is meant with a good alternative to TRL be used. What exactly do you mean, that you're not going into the TRL? I'm not sure what exactly is meant with the second part of this question.
Yeah, if I may complement, of course, certainly the systemic solutions could be, of course, not only technological. So I think this is something that we always encourage to go beyond the technological, you know, organizational, social innovation are also a part. So with regards to the alternative TRL, in our proposals, we focus on TRL. So, but of course, a proposal, if they consider that there are also other related metrics, and they can also, I think, they can explain in their proposal and they can use, but I think the emphasis for us has to be linked also to the TRL. And I think this is, I think we have also replied to this question on common territory. So the next one is, it is possible to know what value chains were funded are the Green Deal call topics. It is expected to receive different ones.
I cannot answer this one.
I think I may also try to reply to that. As you know, the proposal has been selected now in the Green Deal topic in the last Horizon 2020 are now under, they have been under negotiation. So it takes also some months to have also the final agreement. But perhaps some generic information on at least, you know, a short abstract of the funded proposal might be also available. So this is something that we can also try to discuss with our colleagues in the executive agencies. And if this is the case, I think this information also will be available. And then I take the last question, which is, so despite the fact of being an integrated innovation action, like the ones in the Green Deal call, the Circ Bio 0101 also focuses on only one coherent territory, though this is not mentioned in the text. What is your view, Yannick? Is the text focusing on one coherent territory or
no,
not?
but we do stress that it is very important that when you're talking about a demonstration project, you're talking about a circular systemic solution. So it does not necessarily need to be one coherent territory, but it needs to entail a circular systemic solution. So often that is within a region or within a city. But if this is a broader scope, then of course this is also possible. So what the key concept here is a circular systemic solution.
And then I think we have, the more specification about the alternative metrics. So the question is if we can use like a business readiness level or consumer readiness level instead of the TRL.
Well, I think, Panos, you just explained our primary focus would be the TRL, right? And this is also mentioned in the text. But additionally to this, I would again like to stress that we're not just looking at the technical aspects of the challenges that different people, stakeholders address. It's also about legal issues, regulatory issues. It's about financial issues. It's about social issues. So yes, I mean, you can also take these business readiness levels and consumer readiness levels on board. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much, Yannick. We had exhausted, I think, the questions on mainly on the first topic. I would like to ask also my colleagues if we have received additional questions for the topics 02, 03, 04. Perhaps if we can also display also these questions. Yes, thank you very much. It seems that we have also two questions which are related to the topic 0103. So the first question is, would the proposal offering solutions for the sole food packaging sector be eligible, or must consumer goods and humanitarian relief items be included? Hans Christian, I think this is for you, so I will invite you to join me in replying this question, please.
Thank you, Pano, and thank you to the audience for this question. I think the answer is very clear and simple. We don't expect anybody to solve all the world's problems, and you just zoom in, and indeed you can focus on one of these product categories. I think that's also how it's clearly written in the topic.
Thank you very much. And I think the next question is also related to this topic. So the question is, would a new type of biobase single-use though recyclable packaging material also be in scope?
Well, there the answer is a bit more complex because it's a yes, but there's a caveat. You probably all have seen the requested outcomes. We have a full list of outcomes, and at least you have to deliver on 3 of these outcomes, which means that yes, indeed, if this new material can deliver on several outcomes, then yes, this is an option. Even if it's then again promoting single use, which is not something that we really want to promote. But yes, theoretically, this is feasible and eligible if it indeed meets all the requirements in the topic. I could imagine, I went through the outcomes, the list of expected outcomes, and it might fit in, but also then don't forget that this is not about material science. So we are going to a TRL 6 to 8, so mere material science and research into new materials that's still far away from products will not be sufficient to meet the criteria in this call.
Thank you very much, Hans Christian. I see there are some more questions, mainly for the topic 02. I think this is more also for Janneke. They take the first question, is this a CSA? Could the consortium be composed of partners from only one EU member state or associated country?
Yes, that is possible. Yes.
Yes, indeed. I think any CSA could be either by one organization, or it could be also several partners also involved. The second question is also about this topic. As the link of the topic to EASME website is not working in topics, could you please give example of existing PDA facilities?
So yes, we are very much aware that the website, the link is not working. So we're very much on it. There have been some reorganizational issues. So we're working on that. So this link will be hopefully reestablished so that you can have a look at it. But it was mainly referring to energy efficiency projects. I cannot really go into detail here, but again, like I said, the examples were really focused on energy efficiency, and we're working hard to reestablish this link so that people can find good examples that they can use in their preparation.
Thank you, Janneke. Next question also related to this topic. If a region already have a financial scheme up and running, but still need project development assistance, could this still be eligible?
Well, of course, it depends, you know, on the type of obstacles and challenges this region is encountering. So it's a difficult one to answer, because of course we don't have the full details. But my initial answer would be yes. But again, I mean, there are different criteria that need to be taken into consideration, and also looking at different projects, or different proposals. But my first answer would be yes.
Thank you. So the next question is, can the project have a regional focus? Can it have a sectorial focus, or should look at a range of circular economy projects?
Well, again, the key word here is a circular systemic solution. So if that would encounter just a sector, well, again, if you take into consideration the whole value chain and the different aspects that are to be encountered within this value chain, it's very much encouraged to do so. And if this is a regional focus, that's great. If it's across different European countries, but you're talking about a value chain that is, encountering specific regulatory obstacles or specific financial obstacles, it can go beyond a regional focus. So again, it's about a circular systemic solution that you need to take into consideration.
Thank you. The next question is also, can activities include developing tools to support this project development assistance for circular projects? Are activities to support replication, best practice encouraged?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I think the last question is how this CCRI work. Has the secretary already been selected?
Well, thank you very much for this question, because this one has been hanging in the air for quite a while. So we've received many different proposals to be the managers of the secretariat. We call it the Circular Cities and Regions Coordination and Support Office. We are very busy at the moment in evaluating all the different offers, and we really do hope that we can come up with an answer soon. But how will the Circular Cities and Regions initiative work? Well, if you have half an hour, I can explain. It's quite a complicated structure, but basically, if I can try to be very short, it's the Coordination and Support Office who will be coordinating all kinds of different projects. So the demonstration projects, the PDA projects under the green call, but also under this call. There will be associated partners who will also be working on circular economy and circular systemic solutions, such as, for example, the European Investment Bank. And also in the future, and I already made reference to this, in the future there will be, if the Coordination and Support Office is up and running, we will also go and select different pilots that are also encountering all kinds of issues when making the transition to a circular economy. And all these different projects will be coordinated by this office, and the ultimate aim is that all the different projects can learn from each other, and also, for example, that we can move towards replication, basically to accelerate the transition towards a circular economy. But this is all work in the coming months ahead, and we're very busy in making sure that we can have a good start, hopefully after the summer.
Thank you, Yannick. I think we have also replied to this question about the regional or sectorial focus. Or you would like eventually to reply again to this one?
No, not well. No.
Yeah, and then the last one, which is about the PDA, are also about systemic solutions only. Could they have a sectorial focus? I think.
Preferably not. Really, we really want to look at the broader scope. And again, if it's a whole value chain throughout a sector, it's different. Then of course that focus could be entailed, but we really want to look at the whole value chain, and not just we don't want to zoom in on one specific issue, because we've seen that when looking at the broader scope, it's really there that we have a lot of regulatory issues, financial issues, and we really want to help out there. So we would really have a bit of a more macro level view, a bit higher level view, and not too much zooming in on one specific aspect.
Thank you, Yannick. I think we have to pass now. Perhaps if there are questions on the last topic, the 04, I would invite also to colleagues to have a look to these questions. If not, we'll have also to pass to the second round. Do we still have a question? Yes, apparently there is one question on a topic 04, and this is perhaps for Hans Christian. So the question is, chemical recycling is mentioned, but given those technologies are not so mature and the TRL 6 to 8 is expected, what is the real expectation of the call? Hans Christian, could you perhaps also elaborate on that? Yes, thank you.
What is the real expectation of the call? Well, as it's correctly stated in the question, chemical recycling is mentioned, but it's mentioned in the scope, and it's mentioned with the comment that chemical recycling is still in its infancy. Meaning, yeah, that doesn't work with TRL 6 to 8, and indeed, when we look what's expected, that's in the outcomes, and there we don't see anything about chemical recycling, and also the recycling focus would be too narrow, because any project needs to deliver on 4 of the 10 outcomes. And there are things such as increase the recycled content, but also on training, on jobs, etc. So there's a whole list of outcomes. So clearly, chemical recycling is not in the focus; it's in the problem setting. It's only mentioned in the description. So I wouldn't go there.
Thank you very much, Hans Christian. I think we have now passed all the questions. I think there are additional questions. Then we will address this once we have also presented these topics. So I would propose now to pass to the second batch of the presentations. So we will have now 2 presentations which will be related to the sustainable bio-based systems and the bioeconomy. And these 2 presentations will be given by Thomas Kalikowski. So I would like also to invite Thomas to present, first of all, the topic 0105. Thomas, the floor is yours.
Present a topic from destination circular economy and bioeconomy sectors, number 15, called Novel Non-Plant Biomass Feedstocks for Industrial Applications. And this topic is innovation action, which of course is an important consideration. Just to say that this topic addresses the European Green Deal, the Circular Economy Action Plan, and especially it relates to the European Bioeconomy Strategy from 2018. The objective here that we are trying to address with this topic, 15, is to look for additional sources of sustainable feedstocks beyond the current plant-based feedstocks that exist in biorefining. So to leave more land for biodiversity protection and also to lower the conflict with food production and feed production. So this is about also increasing the industrial competitiveness in Europe, resource independence, and industrial sustainability in the end. We are also trying to address with this topic higher capacity and engagement of all stakeholders, especially small and medium enterprises, and to contribute to development of climate neutral circular bio-based materials and products. And looking on the scope of this topic, what is important is to say that this addresses all production of bio-based products such as food, feed, ingredients, including fibers, antioxidants, and other substances with biological activities. But what is excluded from the scope is clearly production of biofuels, bioethanol, and other materials related to bioenergy. What is also in scope is identification and optimization of different sources of these novel feedstocks, such as microorganisms, insects, fungi, algae. All these sources are included. And then also what is included is defining conditions for their culture in biofermenters. Also looking on the circularity aspects, of course, for the use of biomass residues, side streams, and all the innovations related to circularity. The budget of this topic is 6 million euro per project, 12 million euro in total. And of course, collaboration with other related projects is very much important. Thank you very much.
So Thomas, thank you very much for this presentation. So we will immediately also pass to the next one. This is circa Bio 0106. Again, Thomas, the floor is yours.
Hello, I would like to present now the topic from destination circular economy and biobase and bioeconomy sectors. 1.6, and this is a topic entitled Contained Biomass Solutions for Sustainable and Zero Indirect Land Use Change, ILUC, Production Systems for High Value Applications, so a long title. This topic is an innovation action. We see that this topic addresses the European Green Deal, the Circular Economy Action Plan, and especially the EU Bioeconomy strategy. What we want to address with this topic is supporting the innovative bioeconomy sectors, especially the ones related to sustainable production of biomass for high-value applications, high-value products used in different industrial sectors, pharmaceutical, diagnostic, veterinary sectors, and also biorefining, which should benefit from these activities. So engaging all stakeholders is very important. And by mentioning specifically low or no ILUC, we mean diminishing also and lowering the need of using land and risking the land use change. So this helps with biodiversity protection and in general helps with sustainability of production systems. So all of this needs to be verified in the project via life cycle assessment approaches. And of course, engaging all stakeholders, as I said, especially SMEs, is very important here. So on the next slide, we see that in terms of scope, this topic covers identification, optimization, screening, monitoring for the production innovations, especially in bioreactors. Different products and uses are covered: pharmaceutical, as I mentioned, veterinary, diagnostic sectors, production of compounds such as antibodies, vaccines, bioactive metabolites. What is also important is to link to activities under Cluster 1 Health and a related topic covering non-plant feedstocks for industrial applications. And in terms of budget, this topic has 10 million euro in total of budget, and 5 million euro per project is recommended. Also, international cooperation is encouraged in scope of this topic, and linking to past results and ongoing research activities is strongly recommended. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Thomas. I would like now to invite also the participants to make questions for these topics that we just heard. I don't know if there are already some questions for these topics. And indeed, there are also some questions. So let's start with the first question. The question is to what extent these topics 01, 05, and 0106 are different, because it seems that according to the question, the scope and the outcome match almost at 100%. So Thomas, if you can elaborate on that, thank you.
Good morning. I hope you can hear me well. So thank you very much for the questions. Well, of course, these two topics are complementary. So this is clearly marked in both topics, that there is potential for synergy between these two topics. But however, the difference is still quite significant in terms of a first topic. We are looking for non-plant biomass feedstocks. So this is about new sources of feedstocks. And in terms of a second topic, just very briefly, it is about the ways of better cultivation in bioreactors for looking for specific bio-based products, materials, applications. So the focus is really not the same. However, of course, there are similar objectives that both topics should address, especially when it comes to sustainability, verification of sustainability, life cycle assessment, and then finally, the objective is also quite similar. So it is not a surprise that we are looking on new ways of developing bio-based feedstocks, but also resulting materials, products with better environmental footprint and impact in the end on, for instance, biodiversity is mentioned in both topics. So it may seem that there are very high similarities, but again, please have a look on the details, and I hope it's very clear that these are not 100% match. So I think with this.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much. The next question is for topic 0105. And the question is, are plant-derived forestry, agri-food, residual streams allowed? For instance, example, corn or wheat straw as feedstock. And what about food waste?
Yes, indeed. This is very much in scope. This is again the issue of increased circularity and how to ensure that what is being cultivated comes from the sources that otherwise would be wasted or not used efficiently. So what is important for us here is not to promote plant feedstocks that are cultivated on purpose for the bio-based industry in this case, or different bioeconomy sectors, but rather to promote the existing sources and especially for novel sources. So I think with this, it should be clear that this is possible.
Thank you, Thomas. And I think the same question, I don't know if it was also asked to be clarified for the topic 0106. I don't know if there is a mistake or again, is to what extent plant-derived forest agro-food residual streams are allowed as a feedstock, but the question addresses 06 now.
I think maybe this is a duplication, but in any case, again, the circularity is a common element between these two topics. So I hope this is a short answer.
Very good. The next question is regarding also collaboration with previous projects, and the question is, does collaboration with projects mean previous projects supported under Horizon 2020? This is for the 0105.
Well, I would need to see. Maybe I can have a quick look actually on the topic itself. There are some footnotes in some of these topics which may show some specific examples from past projects. But in general, what I can say is that this is not only necessarily about Horizon 2020, even though of course these are the newer projects that may have been finishing now or and have been done also in other initiatives related to bio-based industries, such as especially bio-based industries joint undertaking, so BBIGU. But also we should not forget that this area of development of some solutions well, could be also supported, especially for the topic on contained use. So topic 6, even under previous framework programs in FP7, for instance, we had some topics on contained use. It was a long time ago. So, but the results could be still and follow up of these projects could be still very much valid for to be taken up in consideration. So any collaboration.
I think we have probably a connection problem here. But again, I think in general, of course, I'm not aware of these particular requirements. The latest related projects are the Horizon 20 that we would like, but of course, if there are also previous, for instance, FP7 projects eventually relevant could be also considered. But I think we have already Thomas back.
I think I got frozen out, so sorry about this. Must be some sort of connection issue.
Then Thomas, there are also one more question is for 0105. Are food applications considered as high value application? Example, nutraceuticals, proteins, HMO.
Yes, well, I think what is important, actually, it's a very good question, because here the focus is really not on the food itself. We are talking about food and feed ingredients. So this could be high value materials or substances that can be used in food and feed industry. Well, examples could be given as colorants and vitamins and any other ingredients. Indeed, nutraceuticals. I think the list is quite long. So, but this is not about production simply of food. Of course, the food program is covered in other parts of this work program. So, but these are materials that can be used in the food industry eventually, and proteins is of course also a good example. So I think this is
very good, Thomas. And I think this question, the last question, we have already also replied also to that. So it seems that, if I'm not mistaken, that we don't have any other questions.
Actually, here,
sorry.
the last one, I'm not sure if it has been answered. The one on, I see this
if
question.
If we can have, please, yes. Again, the last question. I have the feeling that we have addressed this, but
I think,
well, colleagues,
this is a question that I see. Industrial gases, if it can be treated as
yes, the question is, yes, could non-plant-based feedstock be industrial gases, for example, producing biochemicals, yes, from CO2 waste from cement industry? I think this was the question. Yeah.
Yes. So the answer is clearly no, because here what is missing in the question is it is the topic. Please read the title of the topic. It is non-plant based biomass feedstock. So the focus is of course on biomass sources, and there are several types of these different biomass sources mentioned, from microorganisms to algae via fungi, insects, and so on. So on this list, clearly non-biological sources of potentially interesting, indeed, feedstocks such as CO2 are not included. However, this is covered in other parts of the program, and especially, I think it's in cluster 4, and this could be covered. And what is covered in cluster 6 could be also sources of CO2, but coming from bio-based sources. So biogenic emissions in other topics may be covered. But for this particular topic, we are really looking on biomass sources.
Thank you very much, Thomas, and I think very good also specifying also reminder to the audience that of course in cluster 4 there are also related issues addressing also circular bio-based industry, also related also issues. So I would also invite interested also people also to look also the work programs in this cluster. And I think with this round, I think we have now finished also the in the second batch. I would like also to thank you also, Thomas, and I would also propose now to have a short break of 15 minutes. So please come back again at 10:35. So we have still 3 topics, so we will continue for the remaining also presentations. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attendance, and see you also in 15 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back to our session on circular economy and bioeconomy. We are going now to continue with the presentations of 2 topics which are related to sustainable bio-based system and bioeconomy issues. So the first topic, which is about the microbiomes and for bio-based innovation and environmental application, it will be given by Thomas Kalikowski. Thomas, the floor is yours.
I'm pleased to present to you a topic from destination circular economy and bioeconomy sectors, number 717, called Microbiomes for Bio-based Innovation and Environmental Applications. This topic is an innovation action, so it's an important consideration. So next slide shows the policy context for this topic and also the expected outcomes. This topic relates to the European Green Deal, the Circular Economy Action Plan, and especially the European Bioeconomy Strategy. What we are addressing in this topic is taking advantage of impressive advances in genome sequencing and other omics technologies that took place in the recent years, also the bioinformatic advances. All of this that contributes to our understanding of complex microbial communities, these microbiomes in different environments. So in this topic, engaging with all stakeholders and increasing the knowledge and understanding of microbiomes is critical, especially when it comes to bio-based innovation. So the potential of microbiomes for bio-based materials, biochemicals, bio-based products, also environmental services and applications is expected. So the topic is expected to be very interdisciplinary and allowing the industrial uptake of knowledge and innovation on microbiota. So on the next slide, we can see the scope of the topic. Here, what is important to say is that parallel topic funded next year in 2022 will cover marine microbiomes. So this means that for the current topic presented now, marine microbiomes are excluded from the scope. Then when it comes to different applications or innovations, all biotechnology applications are covered, excluding the biofuel or bioenergy applications. For instance, the environmental applications, such as the composition of persistent and hazardous contaminants or materials, municipal waste and residues are included in scope. And for this topic, €6 million is available. International cooperation is strongly encouraged in this topic, and it should also capitalize on previous and ongoing related activities on microbiomes in different sectors of the economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you also, Thomas, for the presentation. We will now pass to the next presentation, which is more on the small-scale bio-based solutions in rural areas. And then I would be pleasure also to invite our colleague Michael Wolf from DG Agri also to make this presentation. Michael, the floor is yours.
My name is Michael Wolf. I am introducing the topic mainstreaming inclusive small-scale bio-based solutions in European rural areas. This is a coordination and support action. Did you know that research and innovation are critical levers to accelerate the development of inclusive and sustainable bioeconomies that offer opportunities to primary producers and rural areas while protecting our environment and the climate at the same time? Nevertheless, there are still barriers which hold back necessary investments and slow down the uptake in practice. This is why we need your support to develop, together with European regions, locally rooted value chains, but within a global strategic framework. Selected projects will contribute to the following outcomes: enhanced cooperation between the key players and knowledge holders, provision of tailored and independent support services, and implementation of existing scientific and practical knowledge to accelerate the deployment of innovative solutions in rural areas. On the scope of this topic, proposals will establish regional platforms to provide innovation support, to multi-actor partnerships, and to increase stakeholders' awareness and understanding. By capitalizing on previous research results, help to match information on available biomass with market information and technologies to enable a better mobilization and valorization of resources. The bioeconomy should start and end on the field. Therefore, proposals will also transfer training and knowledge on better nutrient recycling in the circular bioeconomy. Good to know, the Commission estimates that an EU contribution of around 3 million will allow these outcomes to be addressed appropriately. The total indicative budget for the topic is 9 million. The proposals must use the multi-actor approach. Clustering and cooperation with other projects is strongly encouraged. And proposals should consider contributing data and results to the JRC. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much, Michael, for this presentation. So we will now open again the floor for questions and an answer session. As I said, please also use the Slido and also indicate before your question the topic. It seems that we have already some two questions. I think the first question is for the topic presented just now by Michael. And so the question is, what is the small scale? Is this at farm level, town, province? Could eventually Michael also elaborate on that? Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. So the topic description refers really to locally or regional available biomass. There's actually no clear definition of small-scale technologies, but when you read the topic description, you will also find the reference to a few projects which have worked in this field before. And for example, the Power for Bio has also published a list of technologies with really tested and mature technologies. So this might be useful for you to read. What they have in common in general is that they have they need lower investments. They are normally less complex technologies. And what we want to achieve with these technologies is that we really find business cases where we can also integrate primary producers and other actors in rural areas, and not only the big industries. So this is the idea behind. I hope this answers your question.
Thank you very much, Michael. So the next question is more for the previous topic, the 07. The question is the focus on biobase innovation a requirement, or can we focus solely on environmental protection application, or both could be considered? Thomas, we'll be happy if you can also elaborate on that. Thank you. I think, Thomas, you are unmuted.
Yes, I was muted. Sorry about this. I hope now you can hear me well.
Yes, please.
Yes, so indeed, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here live as well. Well, I mean, if you have a look on the title of this topic, I think this is answering the question, because in the title we have biobase innovation, microbiomes for biobase innovation, and environmental applications, and then in the outcomes, biobase innovation is part of a first outcome, and environmental applications are mentioned in the third outcome. So we cannot ignore both elements indeed in this topic, and the biobase innovation is really the first one that is mentioned, as I just said. So then environmental applications is one of possibilities that can be covered under this topic. So I hope this is a quick answer to the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. And I think with, if I'm not mistaken, for the time being, there are no other questions for this topic. So this is also, it is confirmed. So then we will pass to the last presentation. So this is, it seems, yes, yeah, sorry, it seems that we just have one more question, and this is more for topic 08. And the question is, can frugal, non-specifically technological innovation be the main focus of the project, or this be an additional focus? Michael, if you can reply to that, thank you.
I don't necessarily understand this question, to be honest, but if this person might add some additional information, I can try to answer maybe the question a bit later.
Yeah, I think this is more, let's say, the frugal is in the sense that, you know, is not, you know, the high tech, I think, the technological innovation. But as you said, if the person who asked this question either now or later on through the research inquiry facility, perhaps also send more details on this question, and this could be also focused and replied also in written. Thank you very much, Michael. I think the next question is for the next topic that we are going to present now. So we will have also, we'll address also this question in the next session. So as I said, this is a pleasure to invite now for the last presentation, and this is a presentation of the topic which is on the blue bioeconomy, biotechnology value chain. And there I have the pleasure also to invite our colleague Maria Fernandez Gutierrez also to present also this topic. Maria, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm very pleased to present you the topic on unlocking the potential of algae for a thriving European blue bioeconomy. The farm production of algae, both macro and microalgae, is a very promising emerging sector of the blue economy. The total algae production in the EU has increased by more than 70% between 2006 and 2016, and the number of companies cultivating and processing algae in Europe is also growing. This topic is an innovation action, and we expect activities to achieve a TRL by the end of the project of 7. An important note to be made is that cyanobacteria, often referred as blue-green algae, are in scope of the topic. In the next slide, I'm going to present you the political context and the expected outcomes. Algae has received important political attention recently in Europe. Algae is a very versatile biological resource that enables the shift to aquatic biomass and could contribute to reducing the pressure of terrestrial biomass produced from agriculture and forestry. The farm-to-fork strategy supports the role of algae in the protein transition and its contribution to sustainable food. Apart from food applications, the European Bioeconomy strategy and the Blue Growth strategy stress the production of algae as a source of innovative products such as pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and chemicals. The Commission is planning the adoption in 2022 of a dedicated initiative on algae to support the development of the European algae industry. So, in this political context, what is the expected outcome of the project? Overall, what we want is to support the development of algae-based greener industrial products, processes, and or environmental services, sustaining the health of aquatic ecosystem. In particular, the projects will result in an upscaling and demonstrating algae cultivation and biotransformation concepts with positive environmental, social, and economic impacts. Another expected outcome is to provide market knowledge to align the development of new algae products to the uses and the needs of the various sectors. Also strengthening the competitiveness of the European blue bioeconomy and biotechnology industry. And finally, provide scientific evidence on environmental benefits and possible risks of algae cultivation. In the next slide, I will present you the scope. Meaning what is the R&I to be considered to deliver on the expected outcomes. And this includes enabling the cost-effective cultivation and processing of algae into circular products and on environmental services, scale up production and bring algae products closer to the market and demonstrate downstream processing and fractionation of components, establish European strategic development plans for the proposed algae farming, and quantified assessment of environmental benefits and risks of algae farming and products. An important feature of the project is that we place very strong weight on industrial leadership, and that effort should be dedicated to the training and improving the professional skills of competencies of algae farming. The indicative budget per project is 9 million euros, and the indicative total budget for the topic is 18 million euros. Finally, an important element is that collaboration with other projects is encouraged. In this work program, other topics are also relevant to algae. In the text of the call, we mentioned 2 other topics, and we encourage the collaboration between the project resulting in this topic with the others. And with this, I finalize the presentation, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Maria, for this presentation. And then I have now the pleasure also to open the floor for the questions. I think we have already some questions who have been already submitted. And some of them, they also have been voted by several of you. So let's start with the first question is, can we include a waste product from algae production process consisting of high value compounds that can not reach TRL7 during the project? Maria, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Panos, for the floor, and thank you to everyone for these questions. I think that I'm very pleased because it shows that there is interest in the algae sector, and so that we may have a number of proposals, and some of them would be successful. On the question about if the proposals can consider the use of a waste from algae not to get into a TRL7, my response would be that the topic aims at the cultivation and processing of algae into products or environmental services. And it also mentions that the integrated production and the integrated use of algae into the production of several products is something which can add and improve the economic efficiency of the process. So then if a proposal includes a concept that produces several compounds using some wastes, as it is mentioned in the question, then the most important thing is that the proposal gets, the concept gets to a TRL 7 overall, but this doesn't mean that some extremes of the concept may not reach the TRL 7, but as an overall concept, the techno-economic viability gets to TRL 7. This would be, to me, the question to the answer to the question.
Thank you very much, Maria. Then the second question is about macro and micro. So the question is, should micro and macro be included in the process, or is a justified choice acceptable?
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for the question. It's also very relevant. So the topic encompasses algae in general, both macro and micro algae. But this doesn't mean that a proposal has to consider the two types of algae, but proposals can be dedicated either to microalgae or macroalgae. So there is a choice to be made. It can also be that proposals can consider the two of them, but it is perfectly fine if proposals are addressing either macroalgae or microalgae.
Thank you, Maria. So let's pass to the next question. Is there a priority in the products to develop among pharmaceutical, cosmetic, food and feed products? Is food and feed as important as the others?
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, also a very important question. As we said in the topic, the focus of the topic is on the production of circular bio-based products or environmental services. So the main focus is on products like medical, cosmetics, fine and specialty chemicals, etc. On the other hand, what we say is that the integrated production of other products like food or feed or other processes like wastewater treatment, etc., could be integrated, could be considered in the proposals if this could add to the better viability from the economic, environmental, and social perspective. So the main focus is on as I said, like high value products like medical, cosmetics, etc. But the integration of food and feed could be considered, but this is as a secondary priority. It's not like the priority of the topic. I hope I have responded the question.
Thank you, Maria. I think the next question, is related to the previous one. The question is, to what extent macro and microalgae should be considered to cover the scope of the topic, or one type of the algae is enough? I think we have probably replied, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I have already replied to that question. Yeah, so as I said, yeah, proposals can be dedicated either to macro or to microalgae. They don't need to cover the two.
Very good. The second question is in relation to the EABA framework. What's the situation on the approved process of microalgae strain from the list of food grade microalgae species?
Okay, so about this question, first of all, this EABA, I think that is the European Algae Biomass Association. This is not a commissioned department. It's like a private association. So and then about the approval process of the algae strains for in the food grade and policy framework. This is a question that is more a policy question that is more to be responded by my colleagues in DG Sante. Here we are more focused on the research and innovation part. So I think that it would be better to be translated or conveyed to my policy colleagues in DG Sante. Thank you.
Thank you also. I think we have, this is again between micro and micro. I think we have also reply to this question.
Yeah, I think that one question there, maybe when they say about algae farming, does this refer to macro or micro algae? The word farming could be should be understood there as cultivation. So of course, farming is relevant for both macro and micro algae. So farming is considered like cultivation in this context. Thank you.
Thank you also, Maria. Next question is about what does this land-based product refers to? Is macro algae or common farm, or what is, if you can?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, land-based production, it can be both of macro algae, like in areas which are closer to the coast, or it could be micro algae, like in open ponds or photobioreactors, etc. Mm-hmm.
Very good. Next question. I think we received several questions, a lot of interest apparently in this topic. So the question is, could you please explain the meaning of established European strategic development plans?
Okay, yeah. So we know that the carrying capacity of the European seas is not infinite. So we need to know which is the potential for growing algae, both in the sea and in the land. And so we need to know which is like the we need to develop plans to make sure that the cultivation of algae in Europe does not exceed this carrying capacity, and so that we stay within sustainability limits. So these are what we are referring about the importance of this establishing these European strategic development plans.
Thank you. Maria, also the next question is about the synergies, about collaboration, and then with topics, with proposals. And the question is, how do you foresee collaboration with the topic which is opening in 2022, especially a topic farm to fork 0205?
Okay. Yes, thank you again for the question. Yeah, in the text of the topic, we have referred to two topics on which collaboration is very much encouraged, but we say that collaboration is encouraged in general with other topics dealing with algae in the work program, in this work program. And of course, this topic on farm to fork this 0205, I presume that is dealing with algae, and of course collaboration with this kind of projects even is dealing with another application. Is not like the application of this in which we are focusing here, which is more bio-based products, but still projects can learn from each other in many occasions. As I said, algae is like fractionated into several products, and so proposals can consider the integration of food here in this topic, and then it can be positive and valuable, that proposals also collaborate and coordinate with all other topics in the text of the call, which are dealing with algae. Thank you.
Thank you also, Maria. And I think this is seems to be also the last question. And the question is it better to use the waste of algae process for feed or biogas production?
Well, I think that this is a question really to develop, to be responded by the applicants. They need to really, in their proposals, to justify which is the choice that they are making to how to valorize the waste products of the algae processes. And so it's not really for me to respond to that. It's really for the applicants to justify very well their concept and which are the different kind of valorizations that they are proposing in their proposals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria. I think with that question, I think we have exhausted, the questions which were related to this topic. I would like also to thank you. It seems that we are almost now at the end of our session, but if I'm not mistaken, it seems that there are still some questions for the previous topics that we have also addressed before the break. I think that if the colleagues are still available, I will be happy to also to address. And since we have also some time left, so I think there are two questions which are related to, because the first topic is about the circular cities, and the question, the first question is there a need for value chains of several countries, but the question is no need for value chains of several countries, but general conditions in the grand agreement application of 3 countries are still applicable. One region is an example. Janneke, if you are there, could you please elaborate on this try to reply also to this question?
Yes, good morning.
Okay, thank you.
So well, what I know, but again, Panos, correct me if I'm wrong. In this case, what we have said is really it's about circular systemic solutions. So if it's for a demonstration project or for project promoters that want to give project development assistance, if this is in one region, this is allowed. This is encouraged. What I also want to say is with these projects, they are expected to work very closely together with other projects under Horizon within the Circular Cities and Regions initiative. So it's not like a standalone project, but we do expect all the projects of both topics and also the Green Deal call to collaborate and to share knowledge and expertise with all the other projects.
Yes, thank you, Janneke. I think this is, thanks also to our colleague in the executive agency that reminded also us the conditions for, in particular, also the coordination and support action, because I understand this is the topic there. And so actually, according to this also information, of course, I will invite you also to look on the information in the participant portal. But according to the information, applications for coordination and support actions may be submitted by one or more legal entities, which may be established in a member state, associated country, or in exceptional cases, and if provided for in a specific conditions in another third country. So in our case here, there is no exception for this call, so we cannot have participation for organization in the third country, but for a member state or associated country, we can have just only one application. But again, the essence of all European projects is to have also an added value. So even if the proposal is submitted also for one organization, established a member state, it has also to show also collaboration, also potential with other partners. Then, and I think this probably reply to the next question, which is, the consortium can only be established of partner from one member state, associated country. I think I just replied to these questions. That means for coordination and support action, you don't need to have at least 3 entities from different countries, but as I just mentioned, just one organization from one member state or associated country is possible. And then this is a question on topic 03. This is a topic which is on over packaging, single plastics, and related microplastic pollution. And then the question is the EU thinking about banning some kinds of plastics to make innovative material more competitive? So this is more generic, but Hans Christian, I have the pleasure, you are still with us, so if you can also try to reply. Thank you.
My pleasure. I mean, that's not really a research and innovation question. It's rather about the policy framework. So I think that this question should be addressed to the colleagues in DG Environment mainly. What I can say is that I'm not involved in any discussions about material bans under the current mandate of the Circular Economy Action Plan. So in the working groups on packaging, on green claims, consumer empowerment, we don't really talk about material bans. It's also not really coherent with the legislation because material bans would rather be a chemicals REACH topic. But in any case, if you want more detailed information on this, then I would suggest that whoever asked this question contacts SecGen or DG Environment.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Sorry, Hans Christian. Again, yeah, this is, of course, the question is here is we have also to confirm that the 01 is indeed not a CSA. This is an innovation action, and then of course there is a requirement, for at least 3 entities for innovation action. I think this is the case. Okay, I think that with that question, I think we have also arrived, I think, at the end of our today's session. I would like to again thank all of you. I would like in particular also, of course, thank also the speakers for their presentation, but also the audience for their passions to this. There was the new way with this video pre-recording also presentations, but we had the pleasure also to have all the colleagues in charge of the topics also available today, and I would like in particular also thank them for the possibility also to provide also replies. So again, thanks to the audience for all these interesting questions. This shows that this also destination is of course interesting, and so we would like also to wish you all good luck also in the preparation of your proposal. Just to also to remind again that of course that if you have additional questions, please don't hesitate. You can submit also this your questions to the Research and Inquiry Service You can eventually also contact also your national contact points. So we would be pleased also to further also reply on that. And of course, as it was also, you are perhaps aware, of course, this session has been also recorded. So I will invite you, if you would like also later on, also to look again to the presentations and also to the questions. Again, thank you very much. Thanks also for the colleagues for all the technical support behind, in particular also with their support also in the questions. And with all that, I will wish you all the best and have a nice day on. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.